What is going on, everybody, and welcome back into Barley Studios. Now, today in the studio, we're going to be working on a fun project. Now, a customer in Germany had reached out to me and wanted a custom tumbler, not just a tumbler, a glow-in-the-dark tumbler. Now, I have actually made this design before with my daughter, and it turned out absolutely spectacular, and I do sell it on Etsy. It has a great glow effect, and if you're working with black lights in your room or at a rave or a party, it works even better. Now, we're going to make two videos in this little series here. One is going to be the same overall glow design. That's going to be folk art glow paints, and that's going to be like a swirl that me and my daughter are going to put together. As you can see, we're working with it in mid-project. And of course, we're going to give it a Flynn Sister epoxy layer, crystal clear layer. We are also going to make in another video, you may be watching it in this video, I don't know. We're also going to be using some neon paints to give a really cool splatter effect. It actually turns out a little bit darker than I had really anticipated, but the overall design is absolutely spectacular, and we're going to apply a clear coat to this as well. So whichever video you are watching, I hope you guys want to sit back, enjoy some nice painting of some tumblers, and of course we're going to get some glow shots at the very end of the video. So make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the video to see all of those awesome glow-in-the-dark splatter paint and swirl glamour shots. Let's get to it, guys. All right, you guys, let's jump into my workstation here. And I've got everything pretty much set up for us to begin work on this awesome tumbler. Now, as you can see, I do have my turntable here. It's the one I use for sculpting and crafting in general, and it's like a 9-inch one. And also I just have a piece of scrap paper that I kind of cut in a circular pattern there just to lay on top so we can kind of keep that space nice and clean. I also have a box, and as well as our stainless steel spray painted tumbler. It's more like a silver, like a sterling silver Rust-Oleum paint, and we give it around 2 coats of that just to go over that existing base coat with just a nice metallic silver coating. I just thought it would give us a really nice base coat for those paints and the glows to glimmer off of. Just a really cool base color. We're going to go in with quite a few folk art neon paints here. We're going to be using a green, a yellow, an orange, neon pink, a purple, a red, which also has a little bit of a pink tinge to it as well. Another glow-in-the-dark green. Now that is glow-in-the-dark, not neon for that one. And then of course we have another green neon, and the reason I have 2 of those is because one of them is almost out of paint. We also have a neon blue here. So as you can see, we're kind of introducing a little bit more green than we would normally. Now one of those will be a dark green and one of them will be a light green. And the reason I say dark is because the neons, when they dry, tend to be a lot darker as far as just their base color than the glow-in-the-darks from folk art are. However, they glow in different ways. So the neons just have a lot more like pop and vibrancy to them, but the normal glows really do have their own benefits as well. And we use those in the first portion of this overall little like 2 video series when we were making the glow-in-the-dark tumbler for my customer who is in Germany. Now we are going to start off very basic with our colors as we start to introduce them, and then as we start to get moving along, we'll start to go into more of a time lapse, and we'll really start to move a lot faster. So let me just show you real quick. So we'll add a few drops to each color as I introduce them, because I want them to have a nice splattery consistency. Now sometimes these paints, when you score them out, if you haven't used them in a long time or if they're a little bit older, they do have like a very thick consistency, and I just don't want that. I want this to be nice and free flowing, and I want it to kind of really just spray off the end of my finger if I flick my finger, which I end up doing much more often than the actual flicking of the paintbrush. But if you do flick with the paintbrush, you get a lot more fine misting, and I do like that as well. So we're just going to have fun with this and apply the green paint. This is the neon green from Folk Art to kick off this awesome little tumbler here. Now, if you would like one of these tumblers for yourself, you can definitely check that out. It is on my Etsy shop. And of course they are well priced, and usually I have a sale going on, so make sure you check that out. I don't sell many tumblers with handles on them, but if you would like one, just request that of me. I just thought it would be kind of cool to make a handle and a little mug for me to carry around the house, and it just gave me an excuse just to have fun and really be free with my painting here in the studio. So as you can see here, using the paintbrush there to get a little bit of misting there. And then depending on how stiff the bristles are of the paintbrush depends on what kind of splatter effect you get. But as you start to have more fun with this process, it really does kind of just, you really get to have fun with it, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Anytime you can get to be messy with your art, it's just really fun. And you don't have to really pressure yourself to make it look a certain way. It's just one of those types of pieces of art that just, it comes out the way it comes out. And me and my kids do plan to make some canvases like this in the near future, and you'll see those popping up on my YouTube channel in the near future, hopefully. And we'll do a few different variations of that, but for the most part, it's just us having fun, splattering some paint on some canvases in different formats and different ways to create different effects. Now, if you charge up this tumbler, of course, with a UV light, it will glow insanely bright. And if you're looking for a cool water cup for the kids, then I recommend either make one of these yourselves or definitely order one from me, because if you charge them up, they really do glow on the bedside tables, or at least until the kids are asleep. It's kind of fun. We're going to add some glow-in-the-dark mica powders to some of these colors, not all of them, because a lot of the mica powders tend to glow all the same colors anyways. We're going to do that to selective colors. We're going to roll in with different color combinations here. Now just be aware that you don't want to create a lot of mud, so if you need to wait like a few moments between layers to give that paint a few moments to dry between sprays or splatters, then I recommend you do so. As you can see, I'm using my finger there to kind of splatter that or flick the paint. It really does come off a lot thicker, and if you want to sling it, you wouldn't flick it, you would just sling your finger abruptly, and it would give like a nice slinging, like a very thin line. But like I said, you get to have a lot of fun with this. Again, this is going to be the red here that we're applying now. And a lot of times, if you want to apply it, I like to apply my layer colors in particular ways, just depending on which color I want to be more dominant. Applying a little bit of water there, and we're going to go ahead and mix this up a bit. Then we're going to start in with the orange. The orange tends to be a little bit more liquidy than some of the other colors as I pull that out of the tube. It could just be because it just held more water inside of the actual container of paint. Or it could have just been I added a little bit more water to it. I honestly think that the paint consistency was thinner than some of the other colors that I have on hand. Now, all of these paints are the same age. At this point in time, I do buy some new paints here shortly after this for the canvas work we are making in the studio. Look at the vibrancy of that pink. I really like this color. I may even make a cup here in the near future, maybe like a Barbie splatter cup, where it's just like white, like pinks and purples, and just really girly colors. And I think that would be really cool and fun. So maybe you'll see that return in the near future with some different designs. It's very fun. Look at the yellow. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Now, I made a mistake here and I actually touched it just because it got so thick there. And I did not like the look of touching, right? So I went ahead and went over that again after I wiped that paint off. And I don't want it to look like I painted this by hand or touched it. I want it to all be free-flowing splatter. So we're going to start to get a little more heavy with our colors and a lot more chaotic. As we start to build up these layers here. Look at that big old glob of paint right there. Look how great that looks. See, as we start to introduce more of those colors, here we are coming with the blue, the neon blue. Mixing that up with my finger before I start to like kind of just throw that out there. Look how blue it is. It looks so phenomenal, guys. Now just be aware that they do darken up quite a bit. So if you want it to hold its vibrancy like it is right now, we would want to use glow paints, but they would glow slightly differently than they are now. So if you want glows or neons, simply just let me know and I can make it happen with either type of color, and you will find both of those variations on my Etsy shop. I do, however, plan to start a new playlist here, hopefully in the near future, of me preparing for maybe some of my first art or trade shows. So maybe I'll start to maybe make like a vlog style of some of the things that I would like to introduce in my booth, or some of the design that I would like to really just start from the very beginning and just work my way up into having a professional artist booth. So I'd really like to kind of create that, and if that's something that you want to watch, then hopefully stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so that way you can kind of see that as it comes out. If you're just here for just fun, playful art, then this video is for you. But just be aware that I do take my art very seriously, and I hope that you can kind of hang out and stay with me, and subscribe to the channel so you can kind of see some of the other awesome forms of art that I create, as well as the journey that we are taking from just having fun in the studio to taking our art a little bit more seriously as we progress through our art career and journey. Introducing this purple here, guys. Now this is a neon purple, extremely great color here. Again, it will darken up a lot when it dries up, but look how vibrant it is right now. Now another thing you can do if you didn't want it to glow so hard is you could apply a little bit of white to these, and that would kind of keep them a little bit more paled out and a little bit more hot looking in color after it even dries up. So that's another technique that I may show in the near future, where you can kind of change the look of the colors as it dries, but it does take away a little bit of the glow unless you want to use white glow paint. Starting to introduce more of the green now. This is not the so the middle of my little palette that I'm using here for the color separation, the middle is the neon green, and then the little one off to the side is actually just glow in the dark green. Two very distinctly different colors, and they also glow slightly different as well, but when you charge them up, it's the same process regardless, right? So we've mixed a little bit of glow powdered green with each of those. And it of course does change the consistency a little bit, makes it a little more thick. We do add a few drops of water to kind of separate that out a little bit, but what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just cascade these over one another in different ways without not making it too much dominating in the green color. So we're just going to kind of just work through the green here, and then we'll start to work into the rest of the colors on the palette until all of the paints that I had poured out are gone. We're not going to waste any paints in this process, so don't waste it. Use it up, but don't let it drip. Unless you're going to specifically go after the drip-like look, don't let them drip. Let it dry up a little bit between colors, or hit it with a heat gun to kind of dry out those colors before you apply more. If you apply too thick a paint when you're kind of splattering it with your finger or your glove or your brush, then you'll get too many drips. We just don't want that for this individual project. Now here we are, we have this under a UV light right now. Now, of course, I am just simply holding it in my hand because, of course, I'm not going to finish this project in a single day. I got to wait for the paint to dry. But look, we went from this stainless steel mug painted in a Rust-Oleum silver into such an amazing project. Now here it is fully dried and ready for our Flynn sister epoxy. If you're looking to get into tumblers, or you're already into tumblers and you want an amazing epoxy brand, check out the description below. My affiliated link is B Studios for amazing two-part epoxy. Now you don't just have to make tumblers, you guys. You can make anything you want out of this two-part epoxy. I also made dioramas and all sorts of water features as well, and it's just absolutely truly amazing. So of course, check out the Flynn Sister playlist here on my YouTube channel, but of course, if you want to see their actual website and some of the things that they offer, then definitely go check that out. It is absolutely phenomenal epoxy, and it cannot be beat. Do not get it wrong. I am affiliated with them. I do get a little kickback when you purchase products from them with my code, but I would use their epoxy even if I was not affiliated with them. It is absolutely phenomenal, and when I started using this epoxy, it really changed the game for me. I was using Amazing Clear Cast for the longest time, the same stuff you would order off of Amazon or get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It was just way expensive for what you were getting. It was too thick and nasty, and it worked. It worked. It was great. It did its job, but I did have a lot of problems out of it. But this epoxy is setting itself apart. Look how it activated all of the colors. It brought up the vibrancy of them. If you want to think about it a certain way, think about it as photography. When you're in your photos and you want to go to edit it and you want to change the saturation to bring up the overall color and deepen the colors, that's what this does. That's what the epoxy does to paints and things that you add to, whether it's glitter, acrylic paints, or any kind of other mediums. the epoxy brings it to life. Now obviously when we epoxy over a handle, it just makes everything a little bit more difficult. Next time I make this, I'll probably just make the handle just silver, and I'll just remove it with the screws, and then we'll just epoxy it, and then we'll just put it back on. I'll probably start doing that more often, but I just felt like it would be fun to kind of do a splatter paint over the handle as well. I'm not saying I can't do that. If you want to purchase something like that, just let me know and we'll talk about it. But it really just adds a level of complexity to the overall epoxying process, and I just hate how sometimes when you do epoxy over a handle, the epoxy tends to kind of pull at the bottom of those hard edges, and it doesn't really get over the very high edged corners. So I just don't like how it does that at times, but otherwise the epoxy is so smooth and so glass-like. And of course we'll get a glamour shot of what this looks like in a few moments before we go into the final phases of this overall project. Now, like I said before, I'll probably make a few of these to put on my crafting table for the trade shows. I have actually just recently started to accumulate things in stock to start gearing up towards that for next year. So looking forward to that. And I think this would be just a nice, fun, easy addition to that. But we got to walk before we run, right? So we'll probably just start off with a single table, and then maybe no awning, or maybe we'll get a simple awning, and then we'll just work our way up from there. Now, any excess that I have in my little epoxy container here, I will just gently just kind of cascade that over it, spreading it out a little bit, and then let the epoxy level on its own. It's going to take care of everything, and as long as you don't wait too long to apply the epoxy to the outside jacket that you've flooded onto the item, it's not going to be an issue at all. Making sure to kind of spread that out just a little bit, and then we're going to let the epoxy do its thing. We are going to hit it with a heat gun here in just a moment, as well as a butane torch, just to kind of accelerate any of those bubbles being popped. This is regular set, it's not fast set, so all those bubbles naturally a lot of times will rise to the surface on their own and pop, but sometimes we kind of like to expedite it just a little bit to kind of make sure that they get where they're supposed to be, to the surface, and then they pop. Alrighty, so with that, we're going to go ahead and hit it with a butane torch there, just real quick, just literally just flaring it over there. Now the actual butane, as it burns, is actually what pops the bubbles, not the actual flame itself. I'm not saying the flame doesn't help with that process, but it's the actual process and the chemical reaction of the butane burning off is what causes that. So it kind of gives off the gas here, off the end of the flame there. But look how great this looks, guys. Absolutely phenomenal. Look at the halo light in the upper right hand corner. It looks so good. Now I do have a nice fuzzy blanket down on my workstation here, but let's pull over this amazing tumbler here. Alrighty, you guys, so as we zoom in here, and I almost dropped the tumbler. Let's look at this bad boy. Now I've got pretty much the final layer of epoxy on there. I may put another layer on it if I ever decide to sell it. It's probably going to sit up on my shelf for a little while there, but it's absolutely phenomenal. I even may just use this in the studio, me, myself, and I. But here we are. As I transition from clip to clip here, we're going to change the lighting. Now this is under a UV light, or a black light as it were. So if you were carrying this at something like this at a rave or like a party in somebody's basement where they have black lights, you get a really like psychedelic fun looking design to it. Here it is with it charged in the dark. You do see it glows quite a bit. It glows more so in person than it does on camera. Sometimes the camera doesn't pick up on that glow effect very well. Now as we roll into the last video clips here, as you can see on the screen is the previous video of us making the glow-in-the-dark tumbler. Very cool, different paints, different process. Make sure you like and subscribe. Later, guys.